So you're welcome back to today's powerful broadcast. In fact, the end of Nigeria has come. As you can see, the end of this country has come, and what will be the solution of it is a revolution. No matter whatever anybody tries to tell you and try to paint it to you, telling you that once you come to vote in so time, that you are going to make a way for a better government. That is a lie. That is very, very big lie. In fact, I would like you to watch this brother, Dere Farotimi. He has said a lot of things and he explained a lot of things in this video, and also our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Onyendu. So for some people, they'll be thinking that as it is, we are now heading to 2027 election. Once P2B comes in, and everybody will start eating and everybody will start enjoying well, and then life will change, when you know that life will never change because of the kind of cabals and the kind of people that is in office. They will never let you to enjoy. They will never. And the solution to this nation is to allow people to be free. Is freedom. When you talk about freedom, let the people who want to become independent to become, and those who want to remain as you want it, then allow them to remain, but not forcing people to be in a place where they don't want to be, in the name of you want one Nigeria by all means. And this man, he talked a lot of things that once you listen to him, you will understand where Nigeria is going and the foundation where Nigeria is being built on, and the reason why nothing is developing, nothing is growing, and nothing is moving. Everything stands still in one place. So, in fact, no matter how, the politicians, they are there enjoying life, making life miserable to people who doesn't have anything. Then why the poor people are there fighting themselves, killing themselves, and doing a lot of things in the name of they just want either 5,000 or 2,000 just for them to eat a day. In fact, I would like you to watch it as you're about to watch. Like, subscribe, and share for everyone to see the things happening in the country.
Whether Nigerians run away from it from now till kingdom come, the reality is that in the absence of a revolution, Nigeria will implode. It is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. When the rolling stone keep rolling, at some point it will come to a stop. Every rolling stone gathers more and stop. The Nigerian situation is unsustainable. The point of implosion or revolution is in front of us.
Now you heard him, but listening to him in that video, he made a statement that shocked me. I don't know if you heard that. Look at what he said. Dere Farotimi says, in the absence of a revolution, Nigeria will implode. I hope you heard that.
In the absence of a revolution, Nigeria will implode.
The elites of Nigeria are not a problem of Nigeria. We are not up to 20,000 elites that are stealing Nigerian money. Okay, no problem. 100,000 elites. But you have 200 million Nigerians that can fight 100,000 men. And then you sit down in your house and you're complaining and grumbling. What makes you think that the elites will remove their hands from the ceiling? If all you do is sit down in your house and grumble and organize one small lecture on how you're feeling. Who told you the elites don't know how you're feeling? Go to Bangladesh, right? The day they got tired of that woman, what did they do? They chased her out. Go to, is it Peru or Chile? Nigeria is the most docile society I have seen in my life. You're clapping for this. If we line up the tips here now, you clap for them.
Nigeria will implode. It is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. When the rolling stone keep rolling, at some point it will come to a stop. Every rolling stone gathers more and stop. The Nigerian situation is unsustainable. The point of implosion or revolution is in front of us.
In front?
He is right there in front. We're almost there.
Almost
there. The last opportunity for a peaceful transition was in 2023 and is already lost. That's just the truth. The last opportunity for a peaceful transition of power was in 2023. It's lost.
But there was a peaceful transition of power.
No, that was what you saw was an hijack of power. The constitution was suspended in order to install the person in office today.
How do you mean?
Every rule that were meant to have been kept in the process leading up to the election, governing the election and the installation of the president, were observed more in breach than in observance. From INEC, which compromised the entire electoral process, sabotaged his own effort, to the courts, who ignored clear rules and relied on technicalities in order to install a person in office. They killed that lie of Decree 24 of 1999. They killed it finally.
But technicality is law.
You see, technicality is law, yes. But technicalities do not promote justice and it does not build countries.
Are you saying Bola Tinubu did not win the 2023 election?
I say that without any hesitation. He knows it.
Who won?
Yakubu knows it. You see, if I will answer that question, it will be subjective. And the subjective answer will be Peter Obi. I worked on that campaign and I know as a fact that he won the majority vote and the highest number of states. But you have a situation today, and that is the tragedy of Nigeria.
How did you arrive at that?
I'm coming there. You have a situation today, and that's the actual tragedy of Nigeria, where INEC cannot tell you how it arrived at announcing Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president of Nigeria. It can't give you any result to back up his declaration. What I have said to you comes out of the situation room, the presidential election situation room, of which I was a part. We had reports that came in from different states. And I know enough to know that even though he didn't make enough to have won on the first ballot, he won more states than any other person. I think he won in a total of 21 or 22 states.
Obi?
Yes.
From your situation?
Yes. Even the PDPs, INEC doesn't have any portal to show you. Is it the portal where they are uploading all kind of madness? Or is it the ones where you can't even read the Form EC8A that they have TPEX and overwritten, all kind of script? Even that script, why could not collect that script from a student? That's what INEC is using, and it cannot even intelligently collate to say 2 + 2, this is how we arrived at our 4. Election the result was being declared in the middle of the night, and then you heard the crooked Mahmoud saying without shame, go to court. When you hear a thief inviting you to go to court, you can be sure that his father or his co-accomplice is the one waiting for you in that court.
But you should be happy to go to court. That's why you are a lawyer.
Even in the years of my practice, and don't libel me, I'm not a lawyer. I left that ignoble profession when I turned 50.
No, you read law.
I read law.
You went to law school.
Yes.
And you resigned from practice.
Voluntarily, long before I even was called to the bar, I'd made clear that when I turned 50, I was leaving.
So you resigned from practice?
Completely.
So does that mean you're no longer a lawyer?
I am not a lawyer in practice. I read law. I have all the qualifications to be a lawyer. But today, as I speak with you, I do not have the right of audience in a court because I'm not licensed. I've not paid my practicing fee. I refuse to pay it. If I've not paid my practicing fee, how do I go in front of a judge and announce my appearance? Do you get it now? I read law. That I read Christian religious knowledge does not make me a pastor. I read law. I sleep in a garage. I don't become a car. So I read law and I practiced as a lawyer for a season. Without prejudice to the state of practice of law in Nigeria, because it didn't become like this overnight. It was like this before I became a lawyer. It just wasn't perhaps this endemic, but the madness was always here. So it's not like I'm saying that it's because things got bad that I now left the practice of law. As romantic as that would sound, it would be a lie. I had said to everybody's hearing since I was in the university that once I turned 50, I was going to go do something else with my life.
Do you know who you are?
Oh yes, I know exactly who I am.
Why did you run for the position of Student Union President at LASU?
There was a need at the time. There was a need.
What were the needs?
I was a critic for a long time in LASU, pretty much like this one now. I spoke to the heels of the environment I found myself in, and nothing changed.
Were you punished at any time?
By who?
In LASU?
Oh, I did things that deserved punishment.
But they let you go?
Oh, the university rusticated me for a semester when I was reading English language and linguistics. But by the time I was reading law, I'd become a model student who wouldn't even look for any trouble. As a student union president, I had the cooperation of students and even the university administration. I never had any problem with the university administration. Every issue we had, we resolved with dialogue.
You were calm?
I've always been calm. I still am.
Are you still calm?
Oh, very, very.
You are angry.
I'm a creature of reason. I may be angry, and there is every reason to be angry with the madness of our country. But in being angry, I never lose my head. I use my anger productively. I am at my most lucid when I'm angry.
In my quiet time, I say, who is he? What drives him? Where is he from? Who is his mother? What was his upbringing like? How is your grandmother?
Oh, she late now. May God rest her soul. She shaped me.
She shaped you?
Yeah.
How?
I grew up with her. I must have been a little under 2 years old when I was handed to my grandmother, because my mother relocated to the US. So she molded me, and I was living with her until I was almost 10 years old when my mother returned to Nigeria.
What kind of hand did she use to mold you?
You had to be familiar with old Yoruba society to have a clear understanding of the way I was raised. I am what you call Omo Dragba, the errand, maybe somebody who is sent around by the aged. My grandmother was close to 70 by the time I was given to her, and I would always be found sat between her legs. She was the first of 4 wives, and I would be sat between her legs watching everything happening around me.
In Ibadan?
Yeah, right there at Inolinde. And by the time I was about 6-7 years old, I was already a master craftsman when it came to Ayo Olokon. So you can imagine a little rat sat amongst old people, my grandfather, his friends, the other wives. I was always in the middle of very old people, and it was fun growing up. You can see that I'm smiling, recalling experiences. So it was a beautiful time.
You listened to a lot of words of wisdom?
The old have a way of editing everything they say with wisdom. Let's just say that I didn't listen to mundane conversations. I had no choice but to elevate.
Your grandmother deepened your mind?
I had to find a way to cope with the level of wisdom that I had to live with. Yoruba proverbs, for instance, are some of the deepest scriptures you're ever going to hear. And I had people dropping scriptures everywhere around me. And they were, old people tend to be more patient with children. They wouldn't shut me down when I asked questions. If a kid came running to you and is asking questions, most likely you would have some other worries of life that you want to pursue that will make sure that you give very little time to that child. But I had people who were already done with work. They had a slower pace of life. They could tell war stories. The old lost talking. So imagine when I had like 6 old people in their 70s all around me, and they all loved talking. And my grandmother did a fantastic job of ensuring that I never aspired to play football like other children my age, because every cripple in Ibadan, according to her, played football. So I learned very early not to go near the football field. So I was either reading something or the other, or I was listening to them or playing Ayo with them. So that was my earliest school. Sat with my grandparents, playing with them, listening to their conversations, asking questions of them, being instructed by them. They are much calmer, and they had time for me.
Were you brought up by the community?
In my generation, we were all raised by the community. In my generation, they didn't need to know who you were. They just needed to know your parents. They didn't even need to know your parents. If you're doing something that you shouldn't do and there's an adult around, they'll set you straight. If what you've done was so gruesome, they will march you to your parents' home to report you after they've beaten you. When they get to your house, after reporting you, they will be the ones informing your people, we've beaten him already. Do you understand? So that you will not get another round of beating. But I guarantee you that in my generation, it wouldn't save you from another round of beating. Because that lesson that you were taught outside will be emphasized and underlined. Because they will consider it a disgrace that somebody from outside had to bring you to report you. So you've disgraced your homestead. A name counted for something back then. Names counted. They will ask you, that's what house are you from? When they ask house, what they are asking is your lineage.
No, you are sounding like an ancestor now.
Well, I grew up with ancestors.
But you are just 57.
I'll be 58 in a few months. Or maybe I should say weeks.
But the way you are saying in those days, those times.
Let me just say that I was already an old man before I came out of my teenage years.
Old man?
Before I came out of my teenage years.
You said Mami Mariam Ige Olukole, the grandmother that was my mother.
Yeah.
May we be gathered together when I sleep, as is the way of all mortals.
It's just the way it is.
You want to sleep?
Who wouldn't?
You already talking about it?
My brother, The sooner you become comfortable with the idea of your mortality, the quicker you lose your fear of men and of death. I am completely comfortable with the idea of my mortality.
Comfortable?
Completely comfortable.
Oh.
It's inevitable. You can't escape it. If you have time, go back into Do Not Die in the Hour. There is a chapter there which will help you understand the way I view death. It's the one I titled The Day I Died. I recounted an experience there, and that was the day I was cured of all fears. It's that simple. The only thing that is certain is our mortality. Would I be rich? Would I be tall? Whatever you be, will be. But that one that you die is certain, guaranteed. I will sleep one day, as will every other person who lives. It's the way of all mortals. It's just the way it is. And the more you demystify it, the better for both yourself and the persons in your space. Because they too learn to de-emphasize it and focus on living instead of fearing to die.
You said this book is dedicated to the 3 women that had been handed my custody at critical stages of my life and that have loved me in spite of my several imperfections and picadillos.
Yeah. I'm not a good man. I'm not. I'm an acquired taste. I can understand my mother loving me. She was wired to. After all, I left my DNA in her when I was in her womb. So in spite of herself, she's programmed to love me. I am grateful for my grandmother's love, but she was equally at some level inclined to already love me without qualifications. But the wife I married, that I'm probably the largest cross that poor woman carries, but she's been very gracious. So I'm very grateful to God for the gift of the women that He has blessed me with. Yeah, I'm truly blessed. Truly blessed.
Ulufumilola.
Yeah.
Ulufumilayo.
Yes.
The one that allows me to be me.
Yeah.
My facilitator and co-conspirator. I am blessed to be loved by you. And I know that you have loved me more than me. I know that you have loved me more than me.
It's just the truth. When a person takes you the way they find you, when they do not seek to make you into the person they have in their head, but are willing to accept you as you are, what and all. And I'm a deeply flawed man, but I still find a woman who does not judge me based on my imperfections, interpret each and every one of my many insanities from the eyes of love. She'll rationalize everything, make excuses for my failings.
Yeah. Are you a man of steel?
I don't know about steel.
Have you ever fallen in love?
In love?
Yeah.
Of course, I'm in love with my wife. I am in love with my wife. I love life.
Do strong men fall in love?
You see, there is this error that a lot of men make. They think it weakens them to admit to loving. It doesn't. What's the use of life that is lived in the absence of love? If you don't love someone, what are you living for? What are the things that motivate you? What underpins your actions? I love my wife. I love my children. I love life. I love me. I love my country, as imperfect as it is. I love the people in there. I
love Nigeria?
Oh, yes, I do. The possibilities of Nigeria. I don't love what I'm saying right now, but I love what I know is possible with Nigeria. Nigeria is a blessed country. It has everything that pertains to good life. It is those who have managed it that have ruined it. What's not to love about Nigeria?
When you die, where will you be?
Only God knows where we are going, but what I do know is that whilst I'm here, I'll do everything and anything I can to make life better for those I'll leave behind.
You believe in God?
Oh, yes, I do.
Which God?
You see, He hasn't told me His name. I met Him as Jesus Christ. He was introduced to me as that. Nobody asked what religion I wanted to belong to, but I was born in a Christian home. I was raised in one. I was introduced to the church very early. I only ever learned how to pray to God through Jesus Christ our Lord. But I am also mindful of the fact that He has manifested in multiple ways to multiple persons, and I don't have a monopoly of how to get to Him. My mind is open enough on that. I don't presume to know exactly who He is. All I know is every time I've ever prayed, I've only ever prayed in the name of Jesus Christ. And He has not, because I used the name of Jesus Christ, not answered me. But He has never told me that somebody else who is worshiping Him in another name is deaf to that person. He didn't tell me that. I know that as imperfect as I am, He hears me. He instructs me. And he has never told me that there is someone he doesn't listen to.
You pray?
Oh, yes, I do.
How do you pray?
When I remember, maybe I'm on the way to some place and I get instruction, I just feel the urge in my heart to say a prayer. I say the prayer. I might not spend more than 1 minute. It might even be me doing the Pentiraska thing and doing shumi, shama, shumish and all of that. But I do know that God sees my heart.
When Afebe Balola was taking you to prison, did you pray?
I had no need to pray. You see, when people are praying in an episodic fashion, something is happening, so they are praying about it. That one is happening, they are praying against it. They are wasting their time. I had full conviction in my spirit that I was on the right path. There was no prayer to be said. If you read the book, right there in the foreword, I already said that I expected reactions. I fully expected reactions. There was nothing they did that surprised me.
You mentioned your children's name here.
Yes.
And you said, I do what I do because of you. I do not want to see you become refugees in another man's land. And I do not want to see you live through unending wars. What are you saying, Mr. Farutimi? Which wars?
Let me say this. The human spirit rebels instinctively and reflexively against injustice. You can never sustain an unjust situation perpetually. At some point, every victim of injustice will rebel. When you now have a country of over 200 million people, according to the estimates, because our country is now so useless that we can't even have a census. So estimated figures are what we are using in counting human beings.
We will use estimated billion
for everything. So you have over 200 million Nigerians, and amongst these 200 million Nigerians that you have, in fact, let me just say, whatever is over the 200 million are the ones enjoying, but you have 200 millions who are actually oppressed. Out of that 200 million, you have 130 million who are living below the poverty line. Poverty line is $3 a day. $3 a day is under 5,000 naira. That is the totality of what over 130 million Nigerians are having to survive with. Less than that. So the other ones, those ones have more than 5,000 naira. So, but 130 million of your 200 million do not have up to 5 naira.
Poor people, right?
A day. They don't have 5 naira a day for their food, clothing, medication, transportation, housing, because that's the totality of their existence. 5,000 naira.
Is that why they worship
their
oppressors?
They have no choice. Yorubas will say that rationality ends where hunger begins.
So make them
hungry and they become susceptible to all kind of machination.
Destroy their education system.
That's the slogan in Ondo State. It began during the reign of an SAN. Dibo Sebe, 5,000 naira per vote. That was what it was in Ondo State, where it started. Stomach infrastructure began in what was the richest province in Western Nigeria, in Ekiti. Ekiti was the richest province in Western Nigeria during the reign of Obafemi Awolowo. But it's today that state is one of the most impoverished. It's systemic.
Destroy their hospital, let them die.
Destroy everything, kill them. We are being ruled by strangers. They are not touched by the afflictions of their people.
You have called them foolish warriors.
The foolish warriors are usually the ones who begin to fight on behalf of their oppressors. They take on the battle for if I went out there today and I said, oh, Tinubu has destroyed this country, you will find at least 10 sufferers who haven't even eaten breakfast today. They will come out and fight on his behalf.
They love him.
They don't.
So why do they fight for him?
They have no love for themselves.
They've lost their minds.
They are self-eating.
You said we the foolish warriors.
But that's what we are, aren't we?
You call them the ruining class.
Think about it. A person is charged with ruling a country, and he proceeds to ruin the country instead of ruling it. Why would I call a ruinous person a ruler? He's a ruiner. So instead of a ruling class, you have a ruining class. They ruin.
You said the Nigerian middle class, or its middling class.
It's a middling class.
As I have sometimes been forced to label it, is the most foolish and willfully ignorant of the different layers of the Nigerian peoples.
Think about it. In every other country of the world, the middle class is the engine room for development. It is the class that thinks, comes up with ideas, is the engine room for growth, is the closest to the lower middle class and the lower classes. Those are the ones that should be the foot soldiers for development. Ideas should be incubated in the middle class. But what you have today in Nigeria is that the middle class has disappeared. It's been decimated. Whatever was left of the middle class that was developed during the Obasanjo years have been decimated progressively since 2020. It started with Buhari's coming in 2015, but it accelerated exponentially during the COVID years. That was when that class began to face concerted attack. Today in Nigeria, if you are not a member of the Nigerian ruining class, or if you are not working in one of the complicit industries like banking, you can't afford to buy a new car. You can't, unless you're going to go and buy one of the cheaper Chinese variants that are coming out. When Obasanjo was there, during the Jonathan years, people were able to aspire. There was upward trajectory. People were migrating class-wise because opportunities existed.
For you and your family, you want oil pipeline contract. How about children, other people's children? What happens to them? Black people, I ask you, do you think about the suffering of other people's children, or you think about only your own? Do you ever think about what other people's children will eat? Because you are black, you are very wicked. That is why this entire black continent is very poor. You people are steeped in evil, wickedness. Have you ever, when you're driving, you see a child, a little girl, 11 years old, 12 years old, carrying oranges to go and sell? Do you ever think to yourself and say, oh, but that could have been, Ngozi, my daughter? Do you ever think that way at all and say, will I like Ngozi, my daughter, because maybe you are living in wheelchair in England and you came back home, or you are living in Palm Beach, Florida, and you brought your ice cream eating daughters home? You're driving about to show them how the monkeys and the baboons live, and you see a child struggling under the sun, carrying oranges to sell. Do you ever think for 1 second, how would I feel if that child there trying to sell oranges to me is this my daughter here that is eating ice cream? A black person never thinks that way. That is why we are wicked. That is why we are very poor. But thankfully, on IPOB, we remember. Hence, on Rube one Nabal also, we want it to be well and good with everybody. I don't want you to respect me because I'm richer than you. I want you to be richer than me. I want you to respect me because of the content of my character and my intellect. That's all. Not because I have Jeep and you don't. That is rubbish. Not because I live in a good house and you don't. No. I believe that respect should be earned. You earn it by what you are capable of doing for the advancement of those who are not as privileged as you are. That's what makes you a human being.
Oh yes, you have heard it all the way it is. In this country where we live, some people will be thinking that once they get into already the only position or the only place where you can survive as a country is either you are in the politics in the country, or you are in one sector where they are stealing money. That is the only place you can say you can survive. Either you are working in a bank, or you are working in a Chevron, you are working in an oil company, or you are one of the politicians that is stealing the money of the people. That is the only place where you can survive. And the worst part of it in this country is that the people that is suffering the way you are suffering, once you are speaking up, once you stand up to talk against the injustice that is happening in the country, the same people that is suffering what you're suffering will start attacking you, will start fighting you, and they will start even oppressing you, making you not to even see the light of the day. That is why Mazam Kano called the black, the bamboos and the other things. In fact, our Mazam Kano, he, in fact, I would say, is so white more than the white. Because he feel as a human being supposed to be feeling, not like an animal. Not. But as for Africa, you are seeing, they call them black, they call us black. Black people, the type of mindset everybody have, it is how to oppress one another, which is very bad. And that is the main reason why you see there is no part of African continent is developing. Just just take a look at what is happening in South Africa between your fellow African countries. Then because of some part of the African country comes to your own country to survive, the next thing you start chasing them, killing them, and they're doing a lot of things in the name of they are taking away your resources. They are taking away your the work you're supposed to be doing. But it's not supposed to be so. It's because of the mind of Africa. African mind is not like the whites. If you cross the Atlantic or if you cross the continent of Africa, start going to other continents, then you will understand what it means by being a human being. It is there you understand that Africa, mostly Nigeria, that we are at the backward. In fact, we are at this one they used to say third world country. We are even fifth world country because the type of mindset everybody have, it is different. And if you come to religion, everybody carries religion on his head, claiming that they want to see God. Both the people who is the politician, and if they want to even kill you more and more, and if you want to speak, then they will start using the issue of God to put fear in you so that you will not even talk. And at the end, they will tell you will not go heaven. That means you need to suffer here. Them, they need to enjoy. Once you suffer here, once you die, so that you will see heaven, so that you can go to heaven. That is the brain. And that is the main reason why you see Africa is not developing. People are there enjoying day and night with their own children. But as for your own children who don't have the money, who don't go to school the way they go, and who don't do what they do, then we start suffering. The little money, the little tax money that you're supposed to benefit from it, you will never. Then it will become only for their own children and for their own family. That will become their own. Then other people will keep suffering. The only time they used to remember poor men, poor people, it is only when there is election. Like now, election is now coming. They will start sharing 2 cube of Maggi, one bag of one sachet of salt, and then sometime they will now share one cup of rice to the poor people because of the need their election vote, because of the need their vote. Once after that election goes, then everybody will start going back and suffer the way they have been. Then one man will pick the idea of everybody. Already, follow to me, I've already said it. The only solution to this country, it is a revolution. And the former governor of River State, he has said it. And if you want your country to move forward, some people need to rise up and to speak. But we understand what is here. Once you rise up, so we use the security men who is still suffering the way you are suffering to oppress you. And they will use many things to track you down. And they will claim that Nigeria is working. In fact, I would like you to comment down below, like, subscribe, and share for everyone to see things going on in this country. So thank you for watching.